Welcome to this episode of Chattin With Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Chris.
You go back to asking like the mowing the yard thing, right? Like I'm like, dude, I'm not mowing that guy's yard. He's like, you don't have to mow that guy's yard. Tell him you're doing this with me, right? And that made a division in our charter, I believe. And yeah, it was, you know, I mean, hell, I was on work release because the feds were trying to get my criminal history up, and I went to Cleveland. He's there. I get pulled over. I get thrown to jail. And I'm in work release, like go to work, come to or stay the night in jail, go to work. And I worked at my family's restaurant.
Yeah.
And I didn't really work, but I was there. And like probably like 10 days before I'm ready to get out, he says to me, "You want to snort a line of?" I was like, "Sure, why not?"
You're thinking someone that's wearing a wire ain't gonna do this to me, right? They're not gonna
Right?
offer me.
Like we're friends, you know what I mean? Like it was a normal thing. And I'm like, I only got like 10 days left. You know what I mean? Like they don't test people. Lo and behold, that night they test me. I was like, I gotta be the dumbest person on the planet. You know?
What happens when they test you? Do they lock you up right away?
No, because they don't have the results, right? I want to say it was probably like on a Wednesday or a Thursday. And I had to go home. I mean, this is what I had to tell mom. Hey, mom, I'm not going to be out to work next Monday because I started a line with Kelly and I'm going to piss dirty. Like, she looked at me and she's like, "You're an idiot," as she should, right? But, I had no idea.
If that didn't happen, they still were gonna indict you, right? You still would have probably got hit. They would have raided your house or whatever, right?
Yeah, they still would have, and all they did is put me in the hole. And it was a way for him to like disappear. You know what I mean? His phone. That was how he went MIA wherever he went.
All of a sudden, nobody can find them, right?
Nobody can find him. But I'm getting when I got out of the hole, I'm calling Rockford. I try to call his phone. It's disconnected. And I'm like, well, where is he? They're asking me where he is. I'm like, what do you ask? How can I don't know. I've been in jail for the last in the hole for the last 10 days, week or whatever it was. And when I was getting ready to walk out of that work release thing, when I got out of the hole is when I got indicted federally.
It was probably a couple days before you're supposed to be released, right?
Yeah, it was probably a couple days. Crazy. You know what? Looking back at it, it's like the signs were there. But when I got stabbed, he was a person sitting up here next to me. Like his girlfriend used to massage my back when I was, you know what I mean? Like after I got stabbed, they'd go and help me out, get me whatever I needed. So I didn't. I really didn't think that. But now every time like they were gonna wear like the wire thing, he would always like, shh, don't talk on the phone. I'll come talk to you in person. And looking back on that, I'm like, that was the setup, right? That was it. And it was and I was blinded. I wanted to be in this thing. I was partying, not getting along with my son's mom. Like I was easy prey, I think, in that situation, and
Trusting the
lived in,
wrong people.
yeah, trusting the wrong people. And so it's just nuts, right? Like, and honestly, if I seen the dude, I would just really want to just spit in his face, sit, look at you. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? What's wrong with you? You gotta look over your shoulder. You have to know that you did that to a person. You know what I mean? That's just like,
Some people have no integrity, man.
yeah, no, they don't. I mean, I think I might have said it before. Watch the Brady Bunch. Even Mike Brady tells Bobby not to be a tattletale. you
Did
know?
did he tell on other people?
I don't really like maybe dry snitched, but did he like sign statements against him? I mean, no, I don't think so. You know, he might have like said like
this is going on and this is going on over here, like giving them information like that, right?
you know what he did say is another dude that he's not in the club, and this dude's a goofy dude. And I'll say his name. His name is Hogjaw. Like if anybody knows who he is, he's a real piece of work, right? And he's my friend. And he did say that he was supposedly bringing something back from the West Coast or whatever. He mentioned it, and Hogjaw didn't get in trouble and anything like that. But yeah, he threw that out there, you know. And yeah, I mean, but I don't think any of it stuck. None of it stuck because he didn't go in jail, and I talked to Hogjaw still to this day. He was in this. He, you know, I mean, he's a funny dude. Hogjaw and I were out in Las Vegas, and we're driving Pee Wee's car, and we go over to an older member's house who's passed away now. Go over to an older member's house, and I'm just a new member, and I'm like, I gotta take a shit. And he's like, well, take a shit at his house. I said, I'm not taking a shit at this guy's house. It's the first time I've ever been here. Like, I'm not disrespecting him. So I said, take me over to the clubhouse. So we go over to the clubhouse so I can take a shit. And next thing you know, we get pulled over by the Las Vegas Metro for not using our blinker. And the cops are like trying to search us, and he's sitting on the curb, and the cop looks at me, goes, when are you going to make this dude your bitch? I said, what? I looked at the cop. I said, have you ever fucked another man? I said, August sitting on the side of the curb. He's got his head. He's like, oh my God, we're going to jail. We're not, you know what I mean? And Pee Wee's plates were expired because his insurance was expired in Nevada. They had mandatory, so they're towing Pee Wee's car. We brought a gallon of A&W root beer from Wisconsin. We got A&W root beer, and an old leather Indian jacket that I was trying to sell out in Vegas at one of the collectible or whatever stores. And I look at the cop and see another man. He's like, looks at me. I said, yeah, take your partner over there. He looks like you look like the one that's in charge. He looks like the bitch. I go, put a pen out centerfold on his back and just give it to him. You know, you're the ultimate power trip, right? And he finally just looks at me, goes, "But you just get the fuck away from us, right?" Because I was like, "Dude, like, we're calling him a bitch. The bitch is somebody in the ass, you know." And it's like, but you know, I always, anytime I would get pulled over, the cops, I'd always be like, "I'm just a stupid criminal, and you're in charge. You're the boss, you know." You're the one, you're the genius here, you know, and we're not trying this case, you know, we're just having fun, you know. And those Las Vegas Metro cops, man, they were vicious. They were out.
They're right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have you
I
dealt
mean,
with them a lot?
no, that was really the only time, but like, you know, they knew whose car it was. They're like, I said to them, I'm like, we pulled you over for not using your turn signal. I said, you know what? If I were you, if you guys are looking for money, I'd get a lawn chair and sit out here and have a sting operation. Because I see all kinds of people not using their signals. Like, what'd you pull us over for? You're profiling us, you know? And they let us go. You know, we got our root beer in the jacket. And they were just busting our balls, but they didn't have anything. There was nothing to have, you know.
And you got to call Pee Wee and tell him his truck's gone, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I think he told us before we left because Hogjaw was a semi driver and he had his semi out there. He says, "Don't get my car impounded." Well, unsuccessfully, we got his car impounded. You know, and again, like if he wouldn't have been in the motorcycle club when we would have been in the motorcycle club. They wouldn't have been sweating somebody for like a day of their license or their insurance being like a day overdue or something like that. You know what I mean? Like no grace period. Like it's just a witch hunt. And I don't really think that at that time, or maybe even now, I don't think Las Vegas wanted the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club in Las Vegas ever. They didn't want that.
I don't think a lot of towns want them in their towns.
New towns? No, probably not.
Any of them, like any of the towns, like I don't think they like them anywhere, really. Any of the clubs, like
But like I think like in California and stuff, like they like the you know what I mean? It's been there for a long time. It's different. I mean, Frisco, Oakland, they're part of they're like you can't tell the story without that, you know?
it was funny.
But
Remember you were saying, "Oh, it's American as this, and this."
yeah.
Some idiot in the comments was saying, "Oh, well, this is from here. This is from here. This is from here. Apple pie's from here. This is from America. Didn't create baseball. This and that." I'm like, dude, they just don't get it.
They don't get it, right? It's Hells Angels, Harley Davidson motorcycles, John Deere tractors, Skidoo, Artie Cat snowmobiles, Coca Cola over Pepsi, Heinz ketchup. You know, we could go down the list, right? And I'm not saying there's not other brands, but those are iconic things. I think they have a thing on like the History Channel about the brands that build America. You
Yeah.
know, and the Hells Angels are part of that. Whether maybe as you get farther away from it, like when the '60s are over, and a lot of like younger kids don't know that. I mean, where I live, there are people that don't know who the Hells Angels are. Like my kids' friends, they have no idea. I mean, they might some ways, but yeah, you can't tell the story without them. I mean, you can't pretend like Altamont and the Rolling Stones didn't happen. I mean, Rolling Stones are one of the biggest rock and roll bands in the world, right?
Yeah.
And that actually happened, and so you can't tell the story without it. I seen a gas tank that an old member had. It was at Mondo from Denver Choppers. I think it was Bill Reed's gas tank that Von Dutch painted for him, right? Like, that's all part of like the Southern California culture. Like, they're just intertwined, you know? I mean, in Frisco, the Haight Ashbury, the hippie disc, you know what I mean? It's all part of it. Like Janis Joplin, Jefferson Airplane, the Grateful Dead, they're all part of that. Johnny Paycheck, Waylon Jennings, they're all like, had Hells Angels, roadies, managers, stuff like that, David Allan Coe, yeah.
David Allen Go, yeah.
I remember when when I was a prospect in Rockford, he played at the Metro Center in Rockford, and some of the members are all bunged up because the Outlaws weren't in Rockford at the time, so they're going to go down there and make sure David Allan Coe behaves. And nothing happened. He had pink hair with dreadlocks. I mean, he was a crazy dude. Like, but yeah, I mean. I think isn't like Jesse Ventura, and he used to be a Mongol, or is he a Mongol or something like that? The
I don't know
governor.
if he still is. I'm not sure if he still is, but he
He
definitely
was.
was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I think he's retired though.
Yeah. Well, they don't have a retirement plan in the Hells Angels.
No, right?
No, it's in or out. I mean, unless it's changed since I've been in, but it's in or out.
A lot of clubs are like that where there is no retirement plan.
Yeah, I mean, some of them can become like, where they don't have to go around as much or whatever after so many years in the club, But the Hells Angels definitely know.
That surprised me when I found out that they don't have a retirement plan. A lot of people they plan on dying a member, right? When you were in the club, did you plan on dying as a member?
One of the questions that they asked when I became a member is like, who's planning your funeral?